Hello everyone! I've never said that before. I feel like I'm also really fucking close to the camera. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't change out of my pajamas today because I just wasn't feeling it, but describes me as a person pretty well. I feel like the beginning of this video has to be a little bit different because I have so many new people on my channel right now, and I don't know if you guys are watching this video or if you guys even meant to subscribe to my channel, but welcome to my fucking channel. I have another scary story for you guys, and this is actually a part 2, so if y'all haven't seen the first part, I'll have it linked down below. But I wanted to say hi. What the fuck is up, Kyle? What is happening? I have had an insane amount of support over the last couple days on my channel, a lot of it relating back to my scary stories and stuff like that, so I decided to push this scary story to Saturday instead of Sunday. Typically, if you're new here, I post scary stories on Sundays. It's like Scary Story Sunday. It's weekends with Courtney. It's super fun. It's a great thing we have going here. But I wanted to acknowledge what has been happening because I feel like it would be dumb if I didn't, but we hit 85,000 subscribers. I just hit 80,000. So I'm like in shock right now. I'm just, thank you everybody who's here right now. This intro is also going to be kind of weird because I wanted to read a couple things from Tia because this is her story. If you guys are new here, I feel obligated to say that. I feel like it's like a really stupid thing for me to say, like, hello all you new people, but I don't know. So Tia is a friend of mine and she writes a lot of the scary stories that I read on this channel. I spoke a little bit about this in a couple of videos, but I want to go more in depth with it than this video. I'm not even going to try to re-say that because I've already tried to say it like 10 times. So Tia's coming out with a poetry book on the 31st of this month, so very fucking soon. And she actually wanted me to help her out and have you guys help her out with the cover art for the book. So the book is called Between the Lines, and she gave me a description of the book, which I'm gonna read to you guys right now. Basically, she said the poems address drug addiction, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, abandonment issues, and bipolar disorders. How they affect a person's life, and how, even though a person might struggle with any of these, it doesn't make them less of a human being. My goal with this book is to give light to those struggling and who need something to relate to, and also educate those who don't struggle with these things, so that they're given a better understanding of their peers and loved ones who do struggle. I'm so excited to receive my copy, and I'm so proud of her. Like, she's an amazing writer, and I'm so excited for all of the opportunities that are coming her way. But anyways, okay, so the cover art, so she wants us to vote, so go ahead and vote in the comments. Maybe I'll like comment like vote here, and then you guys can like reply to mine or some shit. I don't know. If I don't do that, if you don't see that as like the pinned comment, just reply 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so it's gonna be 1, 2, or 3. I'm gonna put them right here. That's why I scooted over, because I'm not very good at, you know, I'm just gonna put them here. And yeah, okay, I promise it's been 4 minutes. Fuck! I promise that's it for the intro. Let's get right into the story. So like I said before, this is a part 2, so if you guys haven't seen part 1, I will have that link down below. It should be like the first link in the description. Let me pull it up on my phone. So this is the finale to I've Been a Missing Person for 15 Years. The 2 pictures. One was of me, and one was of the kid. The real Jacob Pasick. To say my hard work went into the shitter was an understatement. I don't know how I knew this. It was clear this poster wasn't a warning. It served as a promise. And I understand it might sound stupid, but I couldn't let an innocent kid get wrapped up in what I've been running from for years. I've been a coward. I've been a flake. I wasn't a horrible person. This would be my last identity. I was sure of it. I gathered a few of my belongings from the homeless shelter and left. I couldn't stay in the same place long. Not even for a day. I decided to camp out in the woods, about a mile or 2 away from the community college. It was the only way I could see this kid again. I had to keep an eye on him. His routine was simple. He had 3 classes in the mornings and was never late. Luckily, it was in the middle of winter, so he was always wearing a bright orange hat on his head, which made it easy to spot him in the crowd from the tree line. I ended up panhandling enough money to purchase a notebook and use it to write down his schedule, and anything else if I noticed something suspicious. A week went by and all seemed fine and well, until this past Friday. Jacob never showed for his first class. I waited. No orange hat anywhere. I even circled the entire campus, making sure to keep my head low. I felt it in my gut that something wasn't right. I needed to check on Jacob, but I didn't have any information on the kid besides his school schedule and his full name. I had to do some sleuthing. It's a good thing I never threw away my work uniform, making it easy for me to gain access through one of the back entrances to the financial aid building. Everyone, except for the secretary, was out for lunch. I didn't clean the building often when I worked there, yet would stop by every now and then to help out the other janitors, so the secretary didn't pay much attention to me. I entered a few of the back offices until I reached a corner conference room. There was a bunch of filing cabinets in the corner containing the basic information for each student at the college, all alphabetized. I was in and out of the building within 20 minutes. I had gotten Jacob's home address and cell phone number, and making my way back to the campsite, I decided to call him. I may have been homeless, but I always kept a burner phone on me. There was no answer. In fact, it didn't even ring. Straight to voicemail. My concern grew a bit, and I tried to hold my composure, as he could have forgotten to charge his phone and it may have died. I got about 5 yards away from my man-made campsite when I stopped and realized it was different from how I left it. My sleeping bag was torn open. The little stuffing it had left was scattered around. My trash that I'd kept in a pile by the fire pit was also thrown around. And to the right of my campsite, there was a large birch tree. Its once bare trunk now had 2 pieces of paper stapled to it. The same missing persons poster and the ripped page from my notebook that had Jacob's schedule on it. My fingers shook as I ripped the paper from the tree, grunting out in frustration. They were toying with me. They knew they've been one step ahead of me for the past 15 years and were throwing the fact in my face. I felt so much anger, so much helplessness in that moment. I'd been trying to save myself for so long that I didn't even know who I was anymore. And for the first time in so many years, I sat down and let it all out. I cried. Tears upon tears streamed down my face as I wailed. No, I wasn't crying for myself. I was crying for my friends. I was crying for my parents. I was crying for Penny and Sally. I was crying for Jacob. I was the obvious target, and they got wrapped into my shit when they were all innocent. They didn't deserve this, any of it. Before I had second thoughts, I found some rope I kept in an extra knapsack through my blurred vision. I picked up a bucket and placed it under a low tree branch. I tied the rope around the branch, and I created a noose. It fit snug around my neck, like this was always meant to happen. I closed my eyes and took a few deep breaths. 1, 2, and just as I was about to kick the bucket, literally, from underneath me, I felt my burner phone buzz in my pocket. This halted my actions completely. I honestly didn't understand what was happening for a moment because I never received calls. I was always the one to call, if I had anyone to call, that is. Hesitantly, I took the phone out of my back pocket to see the caller ID. That phone number, it was familiar. Recently familiar. It was Jacob's number. I'm not kidding when I say all the blood rushed to my face from the adrenaline. I ended up answering the call with so much urgency that I tilted my weight to the wrong side of the bucket, causing it to fall over underneath me. The noose obviously caught me, but it didn't break my neck. Rather, I was dangling and frantically pulling at the rope with the phone still in my hand, gasping for breath. Hello? It was Jacob's voice. I struggled to inhale, making a gurgle sound from the back of my throat as I tried to respond to Jacob. I was suffocating. Hello? Who is this? Finally, I managed to wedge 4 of my fingers in between the rope and my neck. I pulled as hard as I could while using the last of my strength to swing my body forward. The rope snapped from the branch and I fell onto the ground with a grunt. I quickly untied the rest of the rope and threw it away from me, taking a huge breath into my starving lungs. I stayed kneeling on the ground, enjoying my ability to breathe for a few minutes before I reached over to pick up the phone, which had been dropped in the struggle. Jacob had ended the call. I redialed. It rang a couple of times and went to voicemail. At least I knew his phone wasn't dead. I tried again and still no answer. I tried to reach him 5 more times before he finally picked up, though he didn't sound happy. Look, I don't know who you are, but stop fucking calling me. I didn't even get to stutter a single syllable before he hung up on me. Irritated now, I called again. He answered on the second ring. What the hell do you want? Jacob. I paused. Look, I know you don't know who I am, but I need you to stay on the line with me longer than 5 seconds so I have a chance to explain. Dude, I don't even know who you are, and even if I did, those noises you made earlier when you answered the phone were just downright disturbing. I don't need to be talking to some damn pervert, okay? I know it sounded weird, but please just hear me out. I'm the other Jacob Pasick, the janitor you bumped into almost a month ago. Oh, fuck, you? I knew there was something wrong with you. You're the one who's stalking me now, right? Man, you're lucky you quit that job or I would have reported you. He was steaming now. I could practically feel him glaring through the phone. How did you get my number? Why do you keep leaving those creepy-ass posters on my doorstep? How do you know where I live? I'm gonna call the fucking cops on your ass. Whoa. Back up. Posters? I didn't send you any posters. That's when it hit me. What did the posters look like? I don't know, man, like a missing persons poster, but it had my name on it with a picture of me at the bottom. Jacob, I know I'm a stranger to you, but I need you to listen to me. I'm not the one who put those posters there, but I do know why they were put there. If you want an explanation, I'd be happy to give you one. In person. Meet me at Village Pizza in East Hampton in 2 hours. Come alone and erase this call history. I hung up before he could respond. Erased my call history, then smashed my burner with a rock that was lying nearby. I had to stay beneath the grid as much as I could. I then put on a few layers of clothes, as the next couple hours of walking were going to be hell. But if I could save this kid's life, it'd be worth it. I waited inside a Village Pizza at a booth that faced the main entrance, glancing at the clock every now and then. It was 5:05. It was only a little late. 5:15, getting later. 5:20, maybe I seriously scared him. 5:30. My right leg was shaking now from all the nerves. I was assuming the worst. What if he decided not to come and called the cops? 5:35. Paranoia was seriously starting to set in now, and I found my eyes searching all over the parking lot through the big glass window at the front of the restaurant. 5:45. He's definitely not coming. I stood up and began to gather my hat and gloves when I noticed a tall, lanky man walking up to the door from one of the parking lot lights. He wore a large black coat with black slacks. His head was bald and his nose was petite looking. Definitely wasn't Jacob. He was also wearing a pair of dark sunglasses. He was wearing sunglasses at night, in the middle of winter. And just as he appeared, he was gone from my sight. I blinked a few times, thinking I was seeing things. And then I saw it. The poster, taped to the front of the door. All the blood in my veins surged as I ran outside, looking around frantically for the strange man. I ended up searching all the stores in the same strip mall, and even at the 7-Eleven gas station across the street. He was gone. I began to run to Jacob's address. Thankfully, it was only a few miles away. The anger and worry that I felt convinced my legs to move as fast as they could. I didn't even wait for the crosswalk signal, which resulted in me almost getting hit a couple of times on the way. When I reached Jacob's house, I didn't stop to catch my breath, and I didn't stop to knock and wait for someone to answer. I rushed in through the front door without hesitation. "Jacob! Jacob!" I yelled as I walked throughout the house, looking for him. First the kitchen, then the living room. I began to make my way up the stairs when I heard a quiet and pained murmur coming from a back room. I almost didn't hear it. Rapidly, I made my way to the back room and found Jacob and a woman, who I'm assuming was his mom, lying side by side. The woman was on her stomach, with her eyes closed and a large pool of blood forming underneath her upper body. She was dead. Jacob was on his back, with a long slash across his throat, almost ear to ear. He looked at me with horrified eyes as he struggled to speak and began coughing, choking on his own blood. I made my way over to Jacob and kneeled down beside him, never breaking eye contact. I examined his wound. It wasn't as deep as it looked, and not as much blood was pouring out of the wound compared to his mother's. I didn't think any of the main arteries were cut. I took off one of my many layers of shirts and tightly wrapped around his throat and tried to stop the bleeding. As I held the cloth to his neck, I searched his pockets with my other hand and found his phone. I dialed 911, and as if to answer my prayers, the woman told me the paramedics would be there in less than 5 minutes. I looked back at Jacob and told him to take short breaths and try not to speak. The paramedics came soon after and took Jacob away. They questioned me for a few moments and told me to wait in the house until the police arrived for further questioning. They didn't stay to supervise me, so I was able to sneak out of a back window. I shed the layers of clothing that had blood on them in the backyard and made my way back to my campsite. Jacob's case was all over the news. He was going to make a full recovery. Everyone thought that the man who called the paramedics for him was his attacker, but Jacob told the police that the man was just a family friend who came to the right place at the right time. I read that in the newspaper. I burned that newspaper, along with the information needed for new identities this morning. I'm currently updating you from the community college's public library. I just had to make a proper goodbye. I'm ready now, and Jacob's gonna be okay. I saved him. I was able to save him. They don't have to get the satisfaction this time, and they never will again. Thank you for reading this far into my ridiculous story, my ridiculous life. I'm glad I got to share it before I go. Sincerely, John Doe. P.S. Don't believe every missing persons poster you see. No, I don't want that to be the end. I feel like I was hoping that it was gonna be like the longest story ever, but Tia, I'm so sad. I'm not sure how many times I could possibly repeat the same thing over and over again, but I genuinely don't know how you people write these stories because I'm not talented. I'm like speechless right now. Like, I don't want the story to be over, Tia. Part 3. We want a part 3. Again, huge thank you to Tia for writing these absolutely amazing stories and allowing me to read them on my channel. I've been blessed. I have been blessed. And I will keep you guys updated for when her book comes out so y'all can buy it, because y'all are gonna buy that shit. And again, make sure you guys comment which of the cover arts you want to see on her book. We're all just helping out here. We're all a big team. We're all helping out. Sorry, that was a really bad accent. But I have my Texas shirt on, so I guess it makes sense for me to have a country accent, y'all. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I love it so much. If you guys have any other stories you want me to read, please send them to me. I always have my social media link down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh my god, I almost tipped this shit. I almost tipped that shit over. My Netflix has been on in the background this whole time and it's so distracting. I just want to watch The Office. I started watching The Office. I can't even get into that. I can't even get into that scene.